first light of dawn slowly spread across the African savanna. The land looked dry and endless, covered with dusty soil, cracked earth, scattered rocks, and only a few old acacia trees standing far apart. Dry grass moved gently in the morning wind, while distant buffalo herds searched for fresh grazing grounds. Unlike dense green forests, this harsh landscape was open, silent, and unforgiving. It was here that one of Africa's most unusual birds began another day. The oxpecker was small, with brown feathers, bright red beak, and sharp yellow eyes. Most people believe it survived only by eating insects from large animals. But its life was far more surprising. Hidden behind its tiny size was a bird with a feeding habit that even experienced wildlife researchers found fascinating. Sometimes, instead of helping animals, the oxpecker drank blood from living mammals, creating one of nature's strangest relationships. The oxpecker spent nearly its entire life around large mammals. African buffalo, giraffes, rhinos, zebras, antelope, and even elephants served as moving homes. Every morning the bird searched for animals carrying ticks, flies, and parasites. Landing softly on thick hides, it carefully walked across the animal's body, using its strong feet and curved claws. With incredible precision, it removed hundreds of ticks each day. For the mammals, this cleaning service reduced parasites that cause irritation and disease. The oxpecker enjoyed a constant food supply, while the host animal received some relief. Scientists call this relationship mutualism because both species benefit. However, the partnership was not always peaceful. Sometimes the bird discovered an old wound or created a small opening by repeatedly pecking the skin. Instead of allowing the wound to heal, it continued feeding on fresh blood that slowly oozed from the surface. Although the sight appeared shocking, blood was not the oxpecker's main food. Most of its diet still consisted of ticks, larvae, lice, dead skin, earwax, and insects hiding inside the thick fur of mammals. Yet, blood provided valuable nutrients whenever wounds were available. Researchers observed oxpeckers reopening healing cuts, especially on buffalo and rhinos, because fresh blood offered an easy source of protein. The host animals often twitched, shook their heads, or flicked their tails in irritation, but many tolerated the bird because it also removed painful parasites. This unusual balance between helping and harming made the oxpecker one of Africa's most controversial birds. Some scientists argue that the bird was more beneficial than harmful, while others believe its habit of delaying wound healing created unnecessary problems for already stressed animals living in difficult environments. As the dry season became harsher, food grew harder to find across the savanna. Dust storms rolled across the plains, while water holes slowly disappeared beneath cracked mud. Large herds traveled greater distances, every day searching for grass that remained after months without rain. The oxpecker followed them closely because wherever the mammals traveled, parasites traveled too. Long hours were spent riding on buffalo backs under the burning African sun. The bird rarely wasted energy flying long distances when it could simply ride its living transport. From sunrise until sunset, it constantly inspected ears, necks, shoulders, and legs, finding tiny insects hidden deep inside folds of skin. Every successful meal increased its chance of surviving another demanding season in one of Earth's toughest ecosystems. During breeding season, the oxpecker searched for safe nesting sites rather than building nests among tree branches. Instead, it preferred natural holes inside old dead trees or abandoned woodpecker cavities, where predators found it difficult to reach the eggs. The female usually laid 2 to 5 pale eggs inside the sheltered cavity. Both parents share responsibility for incubation, taking turns protecting the developing chicks from heat and danger. After several weeks, the tiny chicks finally hatched, blind and completely dependent upon their parents. The adults worked tirelessly throughout the day, collecting insects, larvae, and soft food from the bodies of large mammals before returning to feed their hungry young. Every successful feeding trip meant the chicks grew stronger inside the safety of the old tree. As weeks passed, soft feathers slowly covered the growing chicks. Their eyes opened and they became increasingly curious about the world beyond the nest entrance. They stretched tiny wings, practice balancing and watch their parent arrive carrying food collected from buffalo, giraffes, and zebras. Eventually came the most dangerous moment of their early lives. One by one, the young oxpeckers left the nest and made their first uncertain flights across the dry woodland. Their wings were weak, their landings awkward, and every mistake could attract predators. Hawks circle above while snakes search tree cavities below. Survival depended upon learning quickly. The parents continued guiding the youngsters toward nearby mammals where food could always be found, teaching them how to cling tightly to moving animals without falling. Young oxpeckers spent weeks learning how to survive. At first, they struggled to remove tiny ticks from the thick hides of buffalo and other mammals. By watching their parents, they learn where parasites gather and how to find insects, and occasionally fresh blood from open wounds. As they grew stronger, they became independent and joined flocks, traveling with herds across the dry African savanna. Life in the wild was never safe. Lions hunted buffalo, leopards stalked antelope, and crocodiles waded near shrinking rivers. Oxpeckers use their sharp eyesight to spot danger early, often warning nearby animals with loud calls. In return, the birds stayed close to the large mammals that provided both food and protection, a partnership shaped by thousands of years of evolution. Although famous for drinking blood, oxpeckers are not simply parasites. They remove thousands of harmful ticks and insects, helping many animals stay healthier. However, they sometimes reopen wounds to feed on blood, making their relationship with mammals both helpful and harmful. This unique balance is one of nature's most fascinating survival strategies. As the sun set over the dry African plains, buffalo disappeared in the clouds of dust while oxpeckers rested on their backs in old hollow trees. Young birds waited for their parents to return with food. The next morning, the cycle would begin again, searching for parasites, feeding, raising chicks, and surviving in one of Africa's harshest landscapes.